you can cut it from the outside, but I think where the inside of the jump ring is obviously curved that way, just the saw blade sits in it nicely, sits in a concave section. If it's convex, it's more likely to go one side or the other. So I'm holding the parallels right across the side, nice and close to the join. If you've got a very thin jump ring, it's prone to just being knocked out of position. So I'm just cutting very gently. You should really use your thinner saw blade. This was a cut 3 or 4. It's not cut 3, this is a cut 4. Cut 6 is nice because it's very fine, doesn't knock the metal about, it just cuts through it without putting pressure on it. And also you're taking the minimum amount of metal out of it. So if you made it a specific size, a thick saw blade kind of ruins it. It has to close up, it's not quite round anymore, and you reduce the size of it quite a lot. So now there's a nice neat saw blade shaped gap. It's going to need closing up again, but we should be able to close it up really, really perfectly now. But putting a saw blade through it and accidentally reducing the size is obviously not good, but you can like weaponize it. If you need to reduce the size of a jump ring, it's a good way to do it neatly and easily. Just cut through the joint again. So I'm looking at it closely. Things lined up well this way, but not quite that way. Get your loop, have a close look. I've closed up really well, but only side to side. One side, this side's up a little bit. Like if you're doing any kind of jump ring, making a collet or something, like I did a wire collet video, that was basically 2 jump rings with wires around the side. Yeah, it's really important to get the joins really good. Add strength, takes less solder, your solder joins will be stronger. Solder's more likely to go in the join rather than flood off the side. If the solder's got choice between going across a gap or just going down the side of another bit of metal, it's always going to go to the metal. It's very difficult to get solder to fill up a gap. So that's quite good. Looking at it, it's not quite perfectly round, but it's very round. So I would put a tiny bit of solder on there, and then if it was important that was really ultra perfectly round, I would I think I'd go for my punch. I would just gently knock it down into that.